Hello, everyone. How's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another video. As you have seen from the title of this wonderful vid, I decided to get a new graphics card, right, for my PC that I put together back in 2015. And you're thinking to yourself, well, is it worth upgrading a graphics card in a 5-year-old PC? Well, we're going to find out. What I'm going to be comparing is the NVIDIA GTX 970, which is what's currently in the computer right now. As you see that wonderful background behind you, obviously there's a graphics card in there producing that image. That's what's currently in there, and I'm going to be replacing it with this Radeon 5600 XT, which, from my understanding, with the new V BIOS and some other things, is basically on par with the GTX 2060 as far as performance goes. And from my understanding, with a little bit of tweaking, you can get this even up to almost 5700 XT levels of performance. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, this is a much newer GPU. It's like 6 years newer. And yes, I could have gotten a more expensive GPU, but I thought to myself, well, I have a 5-year-old computer. It doesn't make sense for me to spend big dollars to upgrade the graphics. Why would I do that? My PC's 5 years old. Why would I spend $400 or $500 on a higher end GPU when my CPU is going to be a limiting factor anyway? So I think going like for the mid range is definitely right for an aging machine. And I did pay $310 for this, or $309.99, which, from my understanding, the Sapphire one is definitely one of the better versions of this one. In fact, I got a fairly good deal on it because this is selling for like $330 most places online. So I got it for slightly under that. So hey, great. I know that. Bumped the camera there. I know the base unit of this card sells for $280, but from my understanding, not all of these are equal. And from my understanding, the Sapphire is one of the best, from what I understand. So that being said, getting out of the way, I got this thing at Micro Center. We're going to take a quick look at the box. We're going to obviously unbox this thing, just see what it comes with. There's one side of the box. There's an other side. If you want to read all this crap on here, read it on your own time. Other side of the box, top and bottom. Thrilling, right? Let's see what's inside the box. Let's cut through the... I'm tearing the box up. There we go. All right. Okay. Ooh, we have cardboard. I know I'm as surprised as you are. Okay, let's see. We can get this outer box off. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to get the outer box off here. It's hard to do it at arm's length. It's in there fairly tight. There we go. Okay. So what have we got in this box? Normal graphics card type of stuff. Telling me about the manufacturers. And my representative in Germany, which, that's going to be real helpful for me here in the US. Looks like we got a quick install guide, which I'll look at some point. And okay, folks, and now on to the main event itself, the actual graphics card. I don't believe there's going to be anything else in this box. Nope, nothing else worth talking about. So we'll set that down there to the side. Obviously, it comes in this lovely anti-static bag. And it's a graphics card, so how exciting is this really going to be, right? Oh, man. Well, looky there. Ain't that a fancy looking little card? Like the little graphics there and all that. Got a BIOS switch. I guess I'll have to read that in. Now I know there's a V BIOS. That's like the performance BIOS or whatever. But I'll figure all that out when I actually install this thing. Ooh, looks like we got some plastic wrap here on the top of this. It's got a big old fan on it. For dual fans. Oh, well. You guys get the idea. Oh, it's textured. It's not just flat. Isn't that something else? Wow, fancy. I got all the... Ooh, it says Sapphire on the side. Exciting stuff. You got a big old heat sink on it, and whatever. As far as the outputs on this thing, it has 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI, I believe. Let's see if I'm right. We got DisplayPort. Looks like, oh look, another DisplayPort. DisplayPort. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that's HDMI. What's this? DisplayPort, I think. Strange that they, yeah, it looks like we got DisplayPort, HDMI, DisplayPort, DisplayPort. Whatever, no big deal. So that's what you're looking as far as output on this thing, just in case you're curious. And yeah, that's it for the unboxing of this card. This card does come with a World of Warcraft expansion and the game Godfall currently. Whatever, I guess I'll redeem Godfall. I don't play World of Warcraft, so. But maybe I'll do that as a giveaway or something. Who knows? In a future contest. But yeah, that's it for this. So what I have now is I actually have to, ironically enough, benchmark the GTX 970 just so I can get some base numbers. Okay, folks, so here I am talking about the results of my benchmarking, right? And the first set of results I'm going to talk about with you are just the straight up game benchmarks. And I was originally going to do 3 different sets of benchmarks for the games, but I had some trouble because I think on some of these games, some of the graphical settings somehow got changed between before I wanted to overclock and not overclock the new card. So I wasn't able to give you accurate results on most of the games between the two. So I'm just really on most of the games just going to be comparing between the stock on the 970 and the new card. So basically, we're going to talk about Doom 2016 first. On the GTX 970, I got 30 to 40 FPS. At the resolution I was using on that was 3820 by 1980. And on the new card, stock, without overclocked, I got 80 to 95 FPS, which is a gigantic difference at that resolution. That's basically double the frame rate at the same resolution. In Doom, at 3820 by 1080. That's more than 100% increase in performance. So that was incredible to me. And I got 60 to 75 at the full native resolution of this monitor, which is 5120 by 1440. So still getting 60 to 75 FPS at full resolution was incredible. So what I got at for GTA 5 on the old card, on the 970, I got 40 to 60 FPS. And that was with most of the graphical options like basically turned down to low. With the new card, I got 60 locked because I think it was like VSync or something. And but if I maxed out the settings, set every graphical setting to max, I was still getting 30 to 40 FPS even with everything cranked up all the way. And if you guys know anything about GTA 5, you know just how customizable it is. It can scale an extreme amount depending on what your system is. So next game that I tested out was Just Cause 4, and on that one I was getting 40 to 50 frames per second at 3820 by 1080 and 60 to 105 at 3820 by 1080. And at 5120 by 1440, I was only getting 20 to 40 FPS, which made it semi-unplayable. But with The new card, I was getting 40 to 75. So essentially, I'm getting, in some games, gigantic boosts in frame rates. Sometimes as much as like 100%, depending on the games and the settings. Not what I expected. I did expect a boost, but that was an absolutely enormous boost, as you can see from these results. And then there was one game, Troy Total War, that I was actually able to replicate the graphic settings successfully. On the GTX 970, I did kind of do a torture test because I maxed everything out, and I was only getting 10 FPS on that. With the new stock, before I overclocked it, I was only getting 12 to 15 FPS. And then after the overclock, I did get 17 to 20 FPS. So I think overclocking the new card, it has a little bit of room to overclock, but not significant. And you can get a couple of extra frames per second in it, which I think you will see the same result when we actually look at the 3D Mark results, because you will see a little bit of a boost there. So we're going to now look at basically the 3D Mark results now. And so we're going to just take a look at, first we're going to take a look at the results with the, what I got with the 970. So with the 970 on the Firestrike test, I got a graphics, whatever. I mean, that's the score. I'm not really worried about this score. It's all about FPS, right? So with that one, it looks like on one graphics test, I was getting about 53 FPS, and on the other one, about 44 FPS. So, okay, not terrible. I mean, relatively decent, even on the 970. So we'll look at the stock one, not overclocked. There we are, 99.21 FPS and 86. So that is a gigantic increase, obviously going up. And then if we look at the overclocked, 102 FPS and 90 FPS. So a couple of more, frames per second. So that's the Firestrike test. On Night Raid, on the old one, on the 970, I was getting, this is not a very demanding one, I guess. I was getting a 191 FPS in one test and 259 in another. On the new one, 292 for 467. Not nearly as much of an increase on that one. And then on the overclocked, I actually did slightly worse, 279 and 458. So I thought that was a strange result. Let's see what's next. Skydiver, I guess. Okay, this is another one that wasn't very demanding. This one I was getting with the 970. I was getting 150 and I'm sorry, 159. Sorry, my old eyes there, having a hard time seeing that. 159. Okay. And on the stock, I was getting 281 and 305, and overclocked 280 and 288. Again, I don't know why it was slightly worse, but and on Time Spy, this one obviously I did the worst with the old one. I got 23 and 20 on that. And we'll look at the new stock. 52 and 41, and on overclocked 53 and 42. So basically one extra FPS. So yeah, overclocking this and basically the built-in AMD software does offer a little bit of a boost. It's not a gigantic boost, but you can squeeze a couple of more FPSs out of it, even with the overclock. So even with the V-BIOS or whatever, there's still a little tiny bit more you can squeeze out of this card if you overclocked it. And I overclocked it simply by using the AMD Radeon software to do it. I didn't do anything special. You can do it through manual tuning, and I just turned everything up all as far as it would go. So there you go. That is the result. So bottom line is, if you're like me and you have, 5-year-old computer and maybe a 5-year-old graphics card, assuming that, you didn't get the top end graphics card 5 years ago, it may very well be worth your while to get something like this. Now, I know I probably would have gotten even bigger results if I did get a more expensive graphics card. I don't think necessarily this could have necessarily been the limit. It's just what I personally wanted to spend. I didn't want to spend much more than this, and I'm happy with the purchase. Yeah, I paid a bit more than what it was costing, but the prices of these GPUs apparently fluctuate throughout the year. Yes, I do know Black Friday's coming up, and maybe you'll want to hold off till then. Personally, I just bought the thing because I was nearby the retailer that sold it. I just happened to be in the area, and there you go. So that's it. I hope this was educational to you guys. And yeah, I think it really is amazing just how much life we can get out of PCs nowadays. Because I remember when I first got into this hobby, I wouldn't dream about I wouldn't dream talking about upgrading a 5-year-old build. It just simply wouldn't be worthwhile. Whereas now, even my 4th gen i7 still has no trouble keeping up with games. In fact, my CPU load rarely goes above like 30-35%, even running very intensive games. It's always my GPU that seems to get hammered. So upgrading this was absolutely a good thing for me to do. And I think this will probably take me through the next, 5 or 6 years with this computer. And then at that point, I can definitely see myself, doing an entire new build, because at that point, am I going to upgrade a 10 or 11-year-old computer? Of course not. That'd be ridiculous. I'll do a new build at that point. But it's amazing what you can get now. I hope you guys like this. If you aren't interested in this card, I will link below my Amazon affiliate link for this if you want to get it. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, live long and prosper. Keep on rocking.